All right, we're back.
Oh, hello. We are back. Welcome to another episode of Talking Upstream. Literally my favorite show that comes out on Sundays on our YouTube channel. My favorite show ever. And if you know us, we are some nobodies. My name is Zach. This is Dylan over here. We're content creators. And if you know this show, then you know what we do is we find movies that we absolutely love and we reach out to the creators of those and we want to pick their brain. We want to see why they do what they do, how they do what they do, and how they continue to make things that impress me. And I've watched billions of movies and I'm still just being caught off guard by how good movies can be. Dylan and I went to the movies not so long ago and we saw a beautiful movie which left us in tears. And then just this week we had to watch another movie for this interview, which we're going to get into it.
It's been an emotional day.
But I'll tell you, I'm a little dehydrated.
Time.
And the thing is, we make a lot of content, and we were talking a little bit backstage with our guests this week, and we make a lot of content. We come up with a lot of ideas, and we always think like, hey, who would be good in this movie? Who'd be good in this project? And I never really thought to myself like, I would be good in this. I should be in my own stuff, which is cool. But what we have here, Dylan, do you want to introduce who the guest of the week is and why I just said what I said?
Yeah, so this week we will be joined by actor Chris Mulkey and Suzanne Johnson. Of course, I say actor, but they do a lot more than just that. And the reason I'm saying that, because the movie that we're probably going to talk most about this week was, I believe, produced and written.
Not written, produced and starred.
Produced and starring these two. And they've done a whole lot of other stuff that we can talk to them about. So without further ado, here's Chris Mulkey and Suzanne Johnson.
Hey.
Hello.
Hey, hello. Hey. How are you? Oh, Chris Mulkey, what a beautiful background there. Miss Johnson, very nice to meet you. Thank you guys very much for taking your time to just chat with us, who are a bunch of nobodies. But yeah, like Dylan said, the World Without You is the movie that really caught us off guard. And not that we weren't expecting anything. It's just we watch a lot of stuff, and some movies you're like, oh, this movie was made to make money. But then every once in a while you get a movie that just has like passion to it, and it's got just such an intelligent storyline, and it's delivered in such a timely and perfectly well done manner. So I just wanted to say thank you, number one, for making this movie. And if it's okay,
you're welcome.
Yeah. Now, Miss Johnson, if we can start with you. Sure. When this project came to you, actually, if you don't want to start about how that started, because I know that it was adapted from a novel. Now, yes. Did you know about it from the novel part of you?
Yeah. Yes, I actually found it. Loved the book. Saw myself in Maryland and was looking for a way to kind of, I don't know, bring about my career a little bit. I started in it pretty late compared to most other people, and the story resonated with me. I saw myself in Maryland, and I just felt like it was something that needed to be told visually.
Yeah. Now, I absolutely love that, especially like, look at the cover box. It kind of gives you a rough idea. I use cover box because I'm a 90s kid and I grew up in Blockbuster Video. But like the main poster or the icon. and you look at it, you're like, okay, this is going to be some emotion and some feeling to it. And there's obviously some war drama and stuff. But what was it specifically about this story that you thought needed to be told?
Well, you have to remember, I'm looking at it from a mother's viewpoint, and it's a mother's story. I felt like, I guess it could be looked at in a lot of different ways, but for me, I felt like people needed to see what happens to a family after such a tragic loss. So many films and stories deal with the immediate aftermath. What is everybody doing and how's everybody feeling? But a year later, you don't so much see that. So have people moved on? What's happened to the family dynamic? Who is doing well and who's doing not doing well? And I thought that this story told that pretty well.
Yeah, I agree. Now, Mr. Mulkey, when did you get into this production? I know you're a producer as well, but your role is very big, being like the father that kind of is really trying hard to keep all these people together through a breaking point, you know, and that's interesting. When was it in the production that you got involved?
I was cast in the movie. I got a call from my agent saying that the role was offered to me. And by the way, hi Suzanne, nice to see you.
Hey Chris, it's so good to see your face.
You too. Yeah. So we'll just catch up for a minute.
Yeah.
It was so great working with Suzanne, and I'm so thankful that they called me up. I followed the Daniel Pearl story, the execution of the American journalist by ISIS, and that was broadcast on the internet. And my heart went out to them, the family. So to answer your question, Zach, I was just cast in the movie. They sent me the script and I read it. Oh my God, I love this. I love it because I followed the story. And on a personal level, it was about a little over a year since I had lost my wife. And so to do this movie about a father who is dealing with the loss of someone and trying to keep the family together, it was too amazing. It was so I went into the movie with that on my shoulders, and it was a really great experience.
Yeah, I have to say, and I was speaking to you, Mr. Mulkey, about this, backstage. But this movie, it really it caught me emotionally more than I wanted it to, more than I was expecting it to. I was like watching it, and I knew that I had to like do some more stuff. But I had this thing where I just could not leave my living room. I kept trying to like walk to the kitchen to make food, and I'm like, well, this scene is really, really important. And it was so interesting to follow this story, but not really get political about anything. You know what? Yeah, it is this story, but what you're getting is, and I take a lot of notes while I'm writing movies, and I'm hoping I'm getting this right. But to me, it was so interesting to see every single spot of a timeline in love. You see the people that are just falling in love. You're seeing people that are falling out of love. You see people that are trying to have a life. You're seeing people that are really thinking like this probably shouldn't go. And it was so beautifully done how you worked all those stories together. Now, Miss Johnson, what was it like working with like someone to adapt this novel into such a well-written storyline?
We had an amazing screenwriter, Daniel Pulick. This is kind of his forte, is these types of stories. And we did have quite a bit of input from the author himself to try to capture who this family was, because this is a very particular type of family. It's not your run-of-the-mill, boisterous blue-collar family. It was a very secular Jewish family who has its own belief system, and with each member having a little bit different belief system. But working with him, it was pretty effortless. He brought it to us what we thought should be written. I mean, this is my first experience doing any of this, and so it was all learning on my part, the process and what it takes. And so I was lucky in that respect that we had somebody who was gifted at doing this. So we didn't have to do a lot of work to the script to make it what it was.
No, we didn't noodle with the scenes too much at all.
No.
And they were both of them were on the set a couple days, as I recall. And they were happy, so we didn't. Both. No, it's okay. And I said all my words, it's okay. But say all my words.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, I did.
did.
Yeah.
And then some.
I think I may have added. There was
No,
always
but that's good. No. You were. It was amazing working with Chris. Just.
Are we gonna do it
on and off screen? The guitar serenading everybody, and he's. I don't know how well you know Chris, but he's a lot of fun to work with. He just.
Oh
yeah, he is.
Yeah.
We have a good time. Are we gonna? I go. Are we gonna do it that way? Really? Are we gonna? I mean, it's okay. It's okay if we do it that way, but are we gonna do it that way? I mean, it's not for nothing, but this is what I'm thinking. Maybe we don't do it that way. What do you think? I mean, what do you think?
He was spot on every time.
Yeah.
9 times out of 10, we would do it both ways, and then his way ended up in the final cut.
Yeah. No, well, actually, the first time that I got misty-eyed of the movie is you're seeing Mr. Mulkey on the porch when you're sitting in the chair and you're talking to your one daughter. I just thought that scene, in movies, you always hear people saying you got to show and not tell. And there isn't a lot of lines in that scene, but there's so much emotion to the things that you're not saying in there. And I just absolutely loved it. And
good.
One of the things that really stuck to me when I started watching this before, the storylines and everything was the casting, and the casting is spectacular. Now, Miss Johnson, how much into the casting were you involved in?
Well, somewhat. We had Valerie McCaffrey as our casting director. And so, and I have to say, between her and this script, I mean, we had people coming to us. It was just, the script sold itself, sold the movie. And people really got behind it. They really did. And Valerie got it to the right people. I mean, don't undervalue a good casting director.
It was amazing. And Annika, who's playing my daughter. She was a great actress and a dear family friend. And suddenly she's playing my daughter. It was what?
Didn't you guys have a conversation like the night before? You guys are both going and you're having a conversation. Yeah, I'm going to Chicago to do a movie. She goes, yeah, so am I. What movie? And wait a minute, you're going to play my daughter?
I think that was it. Yeah. I think that was the deal.
Such a great story.
Wow. And then Annika produced another movie, called Killing Eleanor, and I played her father again. Man, so I don't know, it's wild. But yeah, we had this. You're going to Chicago, really? Yeah, I'm doing this thing. About this great family drama. I'm doing a family drama too. What's it about? What? Yeah, it's funny.
That's great.
Yeah, really good.
Yeah, every single scene that the story developed into, it's like, okay, now this is my new favorite scene. This scene is so needed, and when you look back at a movie, it's like, you could have probably trimmed that scene out. Now, this movie didn't have any of those scenes. Every one of those scenes are so impactful. Now, how much on set were you guys for the scenes that you weren't really in? And for instance, there's a couple sex scenes that are very awkward, and it's great that that sex is depicted more like real life. Sometimes in movies it's like, oh, we had sex, let's go do what we do, but that's not how it works sometimes in real life. So I've been heard, so I've been told. Now, were you on set for like all of those awkward scenes, or was that more like, let's let these two actors do their thing?
No, I'm never there unless you need me. I'm never there.
As a producer, I was there pretty much every day.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, and then that was like one of the funniest experiences of my life, watching them film that scene.
Yeah, because the scene unfolds, awesome. and Dylan, I'm going to remind you of the scene. They're trying to have sex in the bed, and it's just not really working, and they're trying a bunch of different ways, and then it gets like a really kind of graphic. And all I was thinking of at the time was like, who else is in this room? Especially when he's like, put your fingers in my mouth, and I'm like, oh my god, I wonder. Because I'm like, did they set up a camera and everyone leave and just let them two do this, or was that in the script?
We were outside. We were outside.
Yeah. Was that in the script exactly like that, or do you kind of allow
No.
the actors to
No.
play
Little
with
ad libbing.
They created, I have to tell you, they worked on that scene ahead of time. They created that scene. That was something that they took, they took the dialogue and they worked on it themselves and created what you saw. It was amazing.
Yeah, that scene was so cool. I really I fell in love with this movie, and I didn't want to. I have too many friends, and now I have a new best friend, which is this movie. So I'm definitely going to tell all my friends to watch it.
Good.
Now, looking, you guys worked with a first-time director who did two short films before this, but this was like the first feature length
directorial debut.
Yeah. Now, what was that like finding a director for this?
Well, he came on, he was from the beginning. He was actually my acting coach.
Oh, okay, cool.
And so we worked together to find the project and then develop it. So, he was, I didn't have to find him. We found everybody else, but I didn't have to find him.
Yeah, great vision. I mean, the shots were dynamic, and I'm like, oh, this guy's a first-time filmmaker. That's cool. Now, obviously, we don't want to take up all of your time with just this movie because you guys do a lot of stuff. And similar, I talk a lot, and I barely let Dylan ever speak. Dylan, do you have any questions? Do you have any questions for these two?
Well, I'm thinking like you're working with a bunch of like not first timers, but relatively new people on this one. Has that compared to like? How is that compared to other productions that either of you have worked on in the past from any position you've been in?
I'll let Chris answer this.
Well, I've done, I think at last count, I just finished my 112th movie like last week. This thing called Being Randy about growing up in San Fernando Valley in 1978. And it's kind of like Licorice Pizza. It's a coming of age drama. Comedy drama. But so I've done like all kinds of first time directors, not first time. I did a movie called Whiplash, and Damien Chazelle had done a short and won best short at Sundance, and then came to me and said, would you play the uncle? And I went, yeah, it's great. It's a great script, And so, and he was terrific from the get-go. And then, I've done movies with Walter Hill and, long guys that have done like 60 movies. And I mean, so we breezed right through this. It was good. We had a good team. Our DP, Suzanne, let's talk about our DP. He was great. I mean, he's just a great shooter. I mean, he got the great shots. It looks great. And, so we didn't really have we didn't get stuck in the mud at all. I mean, I suggest a lot of stuff, and
which is good.
So a lot of the stuff that. So I helped move some of the shots along and find some of the stuff, and
thank God.
Thank God. Yeah, that served us. I thought, well,
Yes, it does. It does, and it's a team. It's a team effort, and it's wonderful when you have somebody who's seasoned like Chris. And, the whole cast was seasoned except for me, honestly. So, it was, I couldn't have asked for a more generous, welcoming cast to take somebody who had been doing this when we shot the film, I had only been in acting for 3 years and I had some independent films under my belt, and a lot of student films, but this was when I made the decision to do this, it was kind of like, the adage, go big or go home. So I did something that was ambitious versus safe. And so, and it turned out, but in part by this amazing cast that knew what they were doing. And so, I'm trying to produce and I'm trying to act at the same time. And so they took up the slack and helped me.
We couldn't tell it was your first or your second or your third. I mean,
that's very generous.
You were in the flow. Yeah.
Well, I was having fun. And it's just when you jive, when everybody works together for a common, everybody loved the film. They they did. They wouldn't have done it otherwise. It certainly wasn't anything you would do for the money, because it's an independent film. Nobody's going to get wealthy on that.
Yeah, I wore some of your husband's clothes.
You did.
Yeah, we didn't like
My ex-husband.
Yeah, your ex-husband.
You're my ex-husband.
I thought now that you're not together, I thought I would get that shirt.
I actually said something about it.
Dang, that's
kind of
my
just gave
shirt.
me a dirty look.
Yeah, probably did. Yeah. No, with the gag was that we were shooting the kitchen, one of the kitchen scenes, and the costumer had me in a beige shirt, kind of like the back wall back there, and then the kitchen was painted kind of a beige, and so I'm standing there and I'm looking. I'm good. I said, I'm disappearing. You can't see what's going on. So Suzanne went upstairs and said, "How about a red shirt?" And so I went, "Yeah, baby, come on."
I was in a red shirt.
And it fit me perfectly. It was great. But I can't find one of those. I've been to a lot of department stores. I can't. We'll talk later.
I'll find you one.
Yeah.
Actually, Dylan and I will send you a red shirt. That's
Okay, good.
A couple of our official Some Nobody shirts we'll send you.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. We're large, It's
okay,
good,
perfect. Okay. Now, Miss Johnson, when watching this movie, no one stood out to me as like, oh, they're a brand new actor. Everyone just
Good.
And you, to me, you had one of the toughest scenes, which is that one major dinner scene where the conversation of, Chris says that he has 3 kids and you say you have 4 kids, which is just, which is a very powerful scene. What was it like knowing you were taking on such a big role in such an emotional scene?
You know what? I prepared ahead of time. When you're in the moment, I just put my blinders on. Because like moments before there had been some catastrophe that the first AD came and said, "Hey, I need your producer hat on." And so I said, okay, so I've got to go do this scene, but okay. And we solved it. And then I just took a deep breath. And so I just didn't think about it. I knew who she was. She's so much like me. And the storyline, the relentless pursuit of the truth, and, her kids are just everything to her. And, the deterioration of her marriage. I mean, all of those things I could, it was just sort of effortless.
Yeah, this is we haven't said this yet, but the film is about the year memorial of the death of the execution of our son in the Middle East, and so it's the honoring of his life, and so everyone, all the daughters come to the house with their respective men, and we honor our dead son's life, and
the Thisbe, our daughter-in-law,
and our daughter-in-law,
yes.
And not all, and like any fairly large family, not all the pieces fit. I can tell you that not all the pieces fit with my brothers and sisters, but we get through it, and and so this is the celebration and the discomfort and the pain of the loss.
Yeah,
that's what the movie's about, and everybody kind of goes out the other side at the end of the movie with new perspective and and great love. So it's really nice. It's good.
Yeah,
there's the movie. Bang.
Yeah, I love the way that it depicts family, because in most families, it's the people in the family, because they're almost too close, they don't really respect each other the right way. And then the scene that really got me the most was where the grandmother breaks it down and was like, look, everyone who's not part of this family is seeing things the right way. And I thought that was the perfect way to kind of sum up a family, because sometimes you're so close to each other that you don't say the things that you want to say. And that was an impactful scene, knowing that Amon, when he goes to get the grandmother, I was like, oh my God, this is so perfect for this man to do this. Now, Miss Johnson, knowing you had the dinner scene earlier, the grandmother scene like this, as a producer, what scene were you most excited to watch unfold and watch come into creation?
Probably the second dinner scene, where there's kind of a confrontation with Thisbe. And well, it's not a confrontation, but it's just everything sort of comes to a head, which leads me into the big discovery about. But I think my favorite scene, actually, and I wasn't even the key focus of the scene, was Annika's scene, where she makes the big reveal. You know, what is this all about, and what is her secret? And I enjoyed that probably the most as a producer of any scene in the movie. She was extraordinary, and just it really moved me. And I've seen the movie 100 times, you know, because in post-production you watch it over and over again, and that scene will still bring me to tears.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen this movie twice this week, and I'll say the thing that really stands out to me, well, not the thing, a billion things stand out to me about this film, but one of them was the fact of, like, it has that sliding door aspect to it, like, you know, Leo says a couple times, you know, you're on a train to somewhere. How do you know if you got on the wrong train? And it's an interesting dynamic to say, like, what would happen if I did get on the wrong train, and you know, and how would everybody's life change by one little moment being different? And yeah, that's gorgeous. I really can't stop falling over this movie, and it's annoying, and I'm very sorry about that.
No, it's not.
No, it's great.
Oh my gosh.
Now I'm gonna
heart good.
I'm gonna switch up a little bit now, Mr. Mulkey. You have like you said, a lot of credits going on now. I know you have coming out soon. You have a thriller set in upstate New York. You have an immigration border drama that we talked about backstage. You also have an 1880s Western coming out, as well as being, you know, in my world of nerds known for Twin Peaks.
Yeah.
Having the range of all that, how do you, like, what do you go towards for, like, a next project? Is there like a genre that you prefer, or is it the script that gets you, or what's your process?
I think, to answer your question, I think it's the script that gets me, and I just kind of stumble forward. You know, people call me up, and I, you know, read the scripts, and I'll do them or I won't do them. Yeah, I mean, Mother May I was this thriller that we did a year ago in June in upstate New York, and it's really a three-hander about the personality of the dead, of the dead mother takes over the personality of the young wife in the house when the husband and wife go back to clear everything out, and she becomes the mother, and I play the mother's lover, and so he enters into this situation, and so suddenly the wife is the mother, and I'm going, who are you? You know, and so that's very interesting. But then the border drama, it's called Deadland. Robert Rodriguez's wife, Elizabeth, produced it, and it's about all the people who've been killed on the border by the coyotes and the border patrol, and I'm not a good guy. I'm not a good guy.
Okay.
And then the 1880s. Then there's a Sundance film. Robert Redford is involved in this, and it's called The Redeemer, and it's 1880s, and raiders raid my ranch while I'm in town drinking and whoring, and when I come back, my indigenous wife has been kidnapped by the raiders, and my daughter-in-law, my son's been killed, and I go out and I go out and take care of business. So
These all sound really great.
Yeah, it was horses and guns. It's really great. It's Robert Cohassy's in that, Dana Sparks, Brandon Rowe, Return of Superman, me. Yeah, it's really cool. So, but I've been really lucky. They let me be funny. They let me be dramatic. You know, I've been really blessed. I'm thankful for that. You know, for sure. Yeah.
I can honestly, if I see your name or your face on a cover box of a VHS, I know this movie's going to be great.
Nice. Yeah.
So,
that's a spirit.
Yeah. Now, Miss Johnson, I know that you're working in like the indie community a lot, and you have a new project coming on. Did you want to talk about the new indie project?
You know, it's a writer director that I have been in a couple of his indie movies. Brad Podolsky. He it's actually based on a true story. It's called Silent as the Grave, and it is about a documentary filmmaker, and it's one of their relatives, but he is trying to ferret out his uncle's death. And he fell down an elevator shaft when he was about 15 or 16 in a bakery where he worked. And they had initially ruled it as an accident, but some things have come to light over the years that make them question what really happened. And so it's a story about that. And I am an executive producer on it, and have enjoyed working with him in the past, and am enjoying this. It's they're working on distribution right now, and hopefully it will be put out there. I do want to do a couple of plugs for The World Without You. We are on JLTV right now. And we've got some screenings coming up June 11th, September 18th, and December 3rd. It's been really well received on the network. Everybody seemed to like it. We found our audience, so to speak, I think. The other thing is, and this is coming up probably in the next month, is the movie's going to be on the Real Women's Network. And I'm really excited about that. That's a subscription streaming service. This will be worldwide. So we're hoping to get it out to some other parts of the world, and maybe generate some interest in a distributor, somebody who will actually want to distribute it. So.
Yeah, I happened to stumble upon it on the IMDb channel, which was
isn't
super
that funny?
interesting. Yeah, I love
Wow.
it. Which is great. And yeah, I really have to say thank you guys very, very much. A, for taking your time to be on here, but B, for bringing this story to light. It's an interesting way to tell a story that some people know about, but it's like, well, you obviously don't know this part of it. And wrapping that up in a kind of almost a thriller family drama it was beautifully done. So
thank you.
Yeah, we're definitely going to recommend it to everybody.
Yay!
And I guess before we get on to the next part of what the show is, Dylan, do you have any I talk all the time. I never let Dylan speak at all. Do you have any more questions for our friends?
I'm fine with that, especially now because the air quality in Boulder has been horrendous, and I sound like a frog to my own ears. So
why? Do you have forest fires?
Oh yeah, fires, pollen.
Yeah.
Dust.
Yeah, Boulder's almost always on fire now for some reason. But
Okay,
so what we I think way to bring this show down, Dylan. Good job. Okay, what we do now, what we do now is we're both going to pitch an original idea to you two, and then hopefully, preferably, you choose one of the two that we should work on for the remainder of whatever the show is going to be, if that's okay. So, Dylan, do you want to go first?
I don't want to go first this time. I've gone first for the last few times now.
I'm going to go first then. Okay, here's my idea that I would like to pitch to possibly work on. I have this idea of an elderly gentleman. He has a large family, but he's in like the hospital. Now it is a little bit in the future, and there's a drug that was created by some pharmaceutical elite that reverses amnesia, Alzheimer's, something like that. Dementia, sure. Yeah, Alzheimer's. It completely brings your memories back, right? So this gentleman who's an older gentleman, like a grandfather, a lot of family, he takes this medicine, and the memories that are coming back was that he was a serial killer in the 70s. He was a very, very bad man before his family blew up. Blew up as far as getting big. Now the only person he confides to is his nurse in the hospital, and she has all of the information of all the deeds that he's done, and she does not know what to do because he's about to die. His family's beautiful and they love their grandfather, but he's a very bad man. So recently it turns out that what Dylan and I pitch are more premises than actual pitches. So that would be the premise that I am lobbing up for my pitch for this episode. So that's my pitch, if it is a pitch. Go ahead, Dylan.
I tried to write a pitch, so let's see how this goes over.
Okay.
So, 6 months after humanity experiences a shared dream which forecasts the imminent end of the world, a pregnant librarian and her husband deal with their small towns, increasing nihilism, society's breakdown, while they have to hide the woman whose point of view delivered the dream.
Wow.
Okay.
That's
That sounds professional, Dylan.
it does.
Thank you.
Good job.
So I have
So,
pitched this like 4 or 5 episodes in a row now, and every time I've had to distill it further and further down.
so Dylan, how does the woman who had the dream deliver the message to the world?
I had not worked that out yet.
Ah.
Part of the show is developing it kind of as we go. So I have the basic pitch and premise planned,
Yeah.
and some ideas come while we kind of spitball the rest of the story.
Yeah, I think the way this idea started was every single person in the world over a 24-hour span of time had this same dream. And then they were looking at the clues in the dream to work it back to the original person. And then it was that. So I don't know if that probably has changed a little bit. But
Okay, I have something for you. I'll get a pitch for you, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, because I gotta do this for a living.
Mhm.
Okay, I'm thinking, the end of the world, it's constant. All these movies, end of the world. Enough already, right? Why doesn't she have this dream or a communication that there is another planet that is exactly like Earth, and the people that on that planet need to diversify their gene pool and want the Earth, which is in imminent danger, to send some of their people to that planet, and they have to figure out who gets on the jet and the rocket, and who doesn't.
Well, I love that, Dylan. You better write
Great
that
idea.
down.
About that.
It is a good idea.
Chris
Yeah.
Mulkey with another writing credit.
So hang on a second. Okay, yeah, I got it. Okay, nothing. That's okay. But anyhow, so I'm thinking maybe that might be. So that's because there are so many things on Netflix and out there on all the streaming things. It's the end of the world, and it may well be the end of the world. But let's have another place to go and decide like who's going to get on that thing and what's going to go on. And,
I think when Dylan originally pitched it, it was interesting to me to find out like it wasn't so much the end of the world that was important. It was what the people were doing for those last 8 months. It's like if you know that the world is going to end in 8 months, like what would you do?
Well,
you
don't necessarily know. You just have a vision. The vision may not come true. So there are people who probably go about living their lives like normal.
Then you got those weirdo interneters that have to like pick apart every single part and go, oh well, there's a calendar, so obviously, and whatever. Okay, but either way. If you folks choose that, we will alter it to whatever we decide. But if it's okay with you, we would like to see or hear which one of those 2 ideas you would accept or would like us to work on.
Suzanne?
Well, just my first. I like your Zach's. I do. I just in terms of because I'm kind of all about family relationships and such, and then personalities and personality disorders and what drives a person to do something. And, he's at the end of his life. And I think you could do a lot of interesting things with him as a character and his victims. I mean, you haven't even talked about who his victims were. He goes to his grave and he's told this one person, what does she do with that information? Because there's probably families. And does she question him more? Does she try to find out more? Like, where are they buried? Where are the bodies? Can she help give closure? See, that's my kind of thing. The end of the world thing just makes me feel kind of sick to my stomach. The thought of the end of the world, and all of that kind of stuff.
Too many end of the world things. I agree with Suzanne, Zach. I kind of like your idea. If you don't want to go with there's a new world out there that these guys can go to, then okay. So I got to go with Zach. But Zach, I'm going to change your idea a little bit. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, please.
Okay. I read in the paper, and I think this happened in Colorado. They arrested this guy, and he was like a super pedophile. They had confirmed that he committed like over 100 acts of really bad stuff. And so who does it? So if the guy's good, if the grandfather's going to be a killer, why does he kill? What's his obsession? Because there's an obsession there, right?
You're right.
When anybody ever does that. So what's that? Well, I'm saying, why wasn't he just like a pedophile murder, so make him really bad, and then the nurse in the end, the nurse goes, rips him,
I like that.
So that
He's like an ex-Freddy Krueger that lost all of his memories, becomes a good guy.
There's so many directions that you could go with this. There's so many possibilities, and that's what I like about it.
Yeah.
All right, so can we say officially that I have won this contest and my pitch?
Hate to say it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Whatever.
Excellent. All right. So we're just going to spend a couple minutes kind of working on. Yeah. All right. Now, quick question. Now, as writers and producers, now, Suzanne, you got the novel and you're like, I got to work this into something. Have you ever worked like on just kind of a dumb premise and like, I really want to work this out? Have you ever done anything from like start to finish?
Me?
Yeah.
No.
Nope. Chris?
Yes. Yeah, I have. I've done it. I'm in the middle of it right now. I just finished writing with my partner Jimbo Burnett. We wrote Meridian, which is a story of the detective from the Meridian, Mississippi Police Department that fought the Klan in 1968 and stopped the church and synagogue bombings that were perpetrated by the White Knights of the Imperial Wizard. Yeah. So and so I've been down in Mississippi and interviewing Klan guys and talking to people for the last couple of years. So I got my Mississippi on. So I've done
my hometown.
Come on now,
Jackson.
Yeah, Jack. Yeah, we've been in Jackson. Yeah. So it takes place in Jackson and Meridian.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that sounds
but that's from a true story. It's a biopic of Luke Scarborough. But I have another story, a film that I wrote called Zombie Football, which is right straight out of here, and it has to do with in Minneapolis at Halloween. There's a 2-block stretch of bars they're back to back, and during Halloween everybody goes down there dressed as zombies and drinks and gets messed up for 2 weeks, and it's Halloween, it's over. So this young lady and her girlfriends all dress as lady zombies and go down there, and she meets a man zombie. But the conceit is that there are real zombies alive, but they're slow, they're dangerous, but they're slow. And you can, if need be, you can rip their arm off because they're rotting anyhow. So in this bar, these two guys, they're sexually attracted, and there's all of that. So they become lovers. And then the guy is actually on the practice squad for the Minnesota Vikings. And the promoter comes up to him and says, you'd be great for my ZFL. And he says, no, you mean the NFL? And he said, no, ZFL, the Zombie Football League. What? No, these players many players can't be in the NFL anymore because they have the virus. No, I've been vaccinated, but they have the virus. So we have the ZFL. We'd like to, but I know you're not a zombie, but you'd be a great like Tom Brady quality quarterback because you're faster and you're not rotting and you're really great. So he goes to a practice, and it's amazing. I mean, arms are being ripped off and they have to sew them back on, and it's really great.
Gosh.
It's zombie
that's
football.
great. See, Dylan, it's a good thing you didn't pitch zombie football. That's what you said you were going to pitch. Yeah, you look like a fool.
Yeah, zombie.
No, I love that. Well, I can't steal that idea. All right,
no,
so
I can't steal that.
when you have a basic premise and you kind of want to work it into a story. Now, Miss Johnson, I know you work with a writer from you have a novel, then you give it to like a screenwriter. Like, I need this to be a movie. But if you had like an original like idea, what are some things that you focus on? You said you focus on like the family aspect of things,
right?
Now,
I tend to gravitate, but my experience is, I've done things a bit differently since the pandemic. Pandemic hit, and I sort of buried. So I'm doing more producing and executive producing, and then acting in the project. So the reality is people bring stuff to me, and they say, "Hey, we have the script. Take a look at it. See if you like it."
Yeah.
And I've had a number of things that have just really interested me a lot, and but they haven't panned out, as a lot of times things don't. And so I'm working on a couple of things I really can't talk about right now, but that are they're going to be fun.
Yeah,
I think they're going to be
so
fun.
when looking over projects, say you were given a script or a story that was this almost science fictiony, a little bit with a lot of a family emotion. Would you say that it's the characters in that story that really drive you to want to work on the project, or the overall idea, knowing you can shape it into something that's more your
It's
style?
actually both. I mean, if the characters, they have to be interesting. They have to be, they just have to be compelling, and then they have to be written into the story in a way that makes me want to be in their world, or experience what they experience, or I mean, it really is a bit of both. It depends on the genre. Now, comedy is comedy. I love campy, crazy comedy. There's a project that I hope that we develop, but that is it's just campy, and it's kind of a cult. It'll be a cult kind of classic with interesting characters, and it's a little bizarre and kind of out there. And then you have the another project that I have been kind of playing around with, that somebody has brought to me. That script is amazing. It needs a little work, but it's based on a true story. So and it's very heartfelt, and if done right, it could be really amazing. So it's just different. It depends on the genre. Yeah.
Well, if you need some help writing that, Dylan is a very accomplished novelist. So, Mr. Mulkey, so you have an idea, and it's a kind of a crazy idea. Say it's zombie football, or say that it's this, amnesia pill. How do you know what you're working on is like a feature film, or if it's like a short film, or if it's like a cartoon that you got to push off to somebody? In your opinion, what's the next step after, like, I got an idea, what do I do with this?
I'm involved. I teach and I write at the Ruskin Theater, and it's in Santa Monica. And I participate in a thing called the Cafe Plays. Here's how it works. Every third Sunday of the month, 5 writers meet at the cafe. They're given a common theme, Memorial Day, say, because it's coming up. And they're also given 2 actors, maybe Suzanne and I, the pictures of them, right? They have 3 hours to write a 10-page play about Memorial Day with Suzanne and Chris, right? And then at 1 o'clock, they assign a director to each one of those 5 plays. They have 5 hours for everyone to learn it and block it and get the props. And then at 7:30 at night, the play's open. And then they do a second performance at 9 o'clock, and then it's done. I've done 55 of those plays in the last 10 years, something like that.
Wow.
And mine have, they're funny, they have sex, and they have violence. Pretty much every time.
Awesome.
Yeah. Trifecta of entertainment right there.
Come on now. So I sit in front of my computer, and I get my actors, bingo, and I sit there. I have a cup of coffee, and then I'll probably call a friend, because I don't know. Maybe I want to. I don't know why. I divert. I get an idea, and then I go and I just do it. So, okay, that's what you're talking about. Inspiration. When are you going to? You get the idea and you go, let's go with this idea. Now, I was writing one time, and as it was about, I don't know what the theme was, but I had 2 wonderful actors, and the scene was, he was at the cafe. They're always set in a cafe, right? So you don't have to change the scenery. And he's writing, and she walks in, and he starts complaining to her about, why did you want to meet me here? There's no internet here. The coffee is terrible. And he's just tearing her down and just, ripping her. And I'm writing this stuff, and the guy's being terrible, mean to her. And halfway through it, and I went, wait a minute. I said, this is going to be terrible. How can I redeem this? So suddenly he does something, and he grabs her, and they look at each other, and the play starts over. And suddenly I have the actor, the female actor, say to the male actor what he was saying to her. And so the jokes that he was, and the ridicule he was laying on the woman was laying on the man now. So it was a switch of roles.
Yeah.
And it was fantastic. And the people really nailed it. Now, so I do that. So what do I want it when I find a project? I'm really careful about what I get involved with, because it's like kind of like a marriage, and so you're like, oh my God, so careful who you sleep with. I don't know,
Yeah.
or what you careful what you wish for. That's one of my songs.
Yeah.
I have a song called "Careful What You Wish For," and yeah. So if I have a great intuitive feeling about the idea itself, and I want to be involved with it, or I'm writing a mafia drama right now, and I don't have any partners on it. And it's a great drama, but if I was going to write with someone, I would be really thorough about who I was going to write with. Like Annika's husband, Rich Newey, he and I wrote a couple scripts together that are fantastic, and he's a great writer. And but you don't want to saddle up with someone who's a goofball, So you kind of want to vet them before you, because you're going to spend it like a year, 2 years with this person. It's like, oh, yeah. So but I've been very lucky, so I haven't been disappointed yet, but I've walked away from stuff.
Yeah. So it's like it's a little bit of communal effort. Yeah, that's interesting, because I have an idea, and usually, and even the way that this this show started was, I had these stupid ideas at 3 o'clock in the morning, and I would text them to Dylan, and then we would kind of try to work them into something. Now, Miss Johnson, when working on this, things kind of evolve when you start working together. Now, the product that you wanted to put, at the beginning of this versus the product at the end of The World Without You. From no, help
totally
to,
different.
Yeah, like
it's totally different.
Yeah.
What the original tone of the movie had more of a political feel, and so we did all the scenes that would create. Remember the interview, Chris?
Chris,
we were on. There was just all kinds of opportunities for this to be that. And so the first pass, that didn't work. It was very clear that was not the movie. So went back to the drawing board, literally, and recreated it, and ended up with this.
When we went on TV, Suzanne, for that interview, the network, for the quasi CNN or whatever it was.
Yeah.
I thought it was a great idea for a scene. It worked out great. That she was the lead sled dog in that, and he was just like I'm along for the ride, whatever she wants. I thought that was a great dynamic for them.
Yes, and
to play.
And, in trying to make the decision on what stays and what goes. There, if you keep one thing, then in order for it to still fit in the movie, you got to keep something else, and then you got to keep something else, and then so we had to make a decision, and we decided that this was a story about a family, and we felt like, and because we did screenings in Chicago and LA, and the overwhelm, that was one of the comments in the very beginning was, what's your story? Is this a political drama, or is this a story about a grieving family? And so I thought, because when you're so close to it, you cannot be objective about what you're watching anymore, because I was in love with it all. And so, but I wasn't going to be precious about it. I was going to listen to what people that had been doing this so long, much longer than me, had to say. So, we decided that this was stronger as a family drama, and also that way there wasn't any. I didn't feel like there was any real lead to the movie. I think everybody had an equal role in this movie. Everyone's story was just as compelling as the next. I mean, Annika's story. I mean, Noelle's. I mean, that was a real strong storyline. I mean, and what she had to say and what she was going through. But, Lily had an equally strong feeling about things and Clarissa, what was going on with her. So we felt like that if we had all the other stuff, it was just distracting us from what we felt like was the real story.
Yeah, and I think you ended up with the right thing, because I think that if it would have leaned a little bit more into like maybe the political stuff, there would have been more question of what this movie was trying to do.
Yes.
Here, watching a family break while trying to stay together, I think was so successful.
Thank you.
Yeah, but no, thank you guys. I really want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for taking your time to talk to us. We're trying so hard to do the things that you guys are doing, and it's so cool that you just spend a little bit of your time just really inflating our egos and making sure that we know that it can be done. So thank you.
Oh my goodness.
Thank
you for having me. This is quite the honor.
Oh no, trust me, it's for me. We've been looking forward for this for about 2 weeks now. Okay, Chris Mulkey, is there anything other than your SoundCloud account? Is there anything you would like people to know about you or find for you?
You can go on Spotify and just and listen to my music, Chris Mulkey and my band Deluxe, and just listen to the music and groove with that. I'm gonna go.
They're top notch. They're really good.
Thank you. I'm gonna go down to. I'm going down to St. Augustine, Florida in 2 weeks and play music with my friend Bill Murray in the Murray Brothers charity event down there.
Oh, wow,
so we're going to go down and rock down there with Ira Dean and all these guys. And then what else am I doing? And then I'm doing a charity event for the Ukrainian disaster. We're going to play some music for those guys out in Palm Springs. And then if you're in Los Angeles I think the 21st of May, we're playing Harvell's, a great blues bar in Santa Monica that I played before. And then I'm going to go out to your farm, Suzanne, this summer and do a concert with my band and just like tear it up.
Would you like to come? Cool. You know what? It's an open invitation to my place in North Carolina. Got 36 acres. You can make as much noise as you want. Big house.
All right.
Wait, is that open to us too? Because Bill and I have been trying to get
okay.
We've been trying to get to the East Coast for a while.
That's why I built it. We're right on the river.
Well, you guys are both, Zach, you guys play music, don't you? Trumpet or trombone or
trombone, guitar, ukulele.
Trombonist,
yeah, me too. Yeah, I'm trombone. Well, that's great, Suzanne. Well, I'll be there. I'm going to be in Raleigh. I'm going to be in Raleigh, Durham on the 27th of May doing a signing thing. Are you by Raleigh, Durham? Are you?
No, I'm about 5 hours. I'm in the northwest part of the state. I'm almost to Tennessee. I'm about a half an hour, 40 minutes from Knoxville. Or if you know where Asheville is, I'm about 35, 40 minutes north.
Oh, my sister was in Shelby. So
really?
It's perfect.
Yeah. I got friends. And
I'm telling you, you guys have my number.
We'll be down there
now. Reach out.
All right.
Love to have you.
You made a mistake by inviting us because we're never going to leave. We're just going to keep pitching ideas to you nonstop. Ms. Johnson, other than people and I cannot stress this enough, please go watch The World Without You. But other than this beautiful movie, which you could find almost everywhere soon, but literally search for it. But other than that, is there anything you would like people to find of yours?
No, at this point, a lot of things are a work in progress. I pandemic changed my viewpoint on a lot of things, and so right now I am just living life to the fullest. I have 6 grandchildren now, and they all live out of state. I'm spending a lot of time traveling to them, a lot of time in North Carolina. I'm just going to and the projects are just something I enjoy doing. It's not something I have to do. And that's kind of where I am right now.
Right.
Yeah. Well, you're great at it. Watching this
you.
movie, I would not have expected to see your IMDb page be so short. I could have sworn that you are like a master.
I'm a nurse. I'm actually a nurse.
Well, I
There
think
you
you
go.
found the right thing.
Perfect.
But either way, folks, we do appreciate you. We appreciate the work that you do. We appreciate the creativity that you bring. And once again, we definitely appreciate the time just talking to us. So,
Hey, Zach,
Yes,
I just want to thank Suzanne for having me in her movie.
Oh, you
So there you
kidding?
go.
I want to thank Suzanne for having you in her movie.
Come on now.
You were the best choice we could have made.
Oh,
and
God
you know
bless
what? And I've got this lifelong friend here. You know, movie making and this business should be about relationships. It should not just be about the bottom line. And,
Amen.
And that's how I approach everything in life, including my my career.
All right.
That's cool.
This is so beautiful, and we'll definitely see you at a bonfire in North Carolina very soon.
I'm telling
right.
you, I'm sincere.
Well, thank you guys again.
Thank
and
you.
But before anything else, they've been Chris Mulkey and Suzanne Johnson. He has been Dylan Terry. I have been Zach Wiseman. But you've been great. Have a great day. Bye, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.